back.
Hey guys, just finished watching Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 12, The Book of Secret, Chapter 2, Just and Unjust. So this episode was kind of interesting. I mean, there wasn't too much really happened. We didn't really move on to trying to take down, it was kind of much, seemed like a filler episode. I mean, it's not like Villain of the Week. The show doesn't really do that, which I kind of like for this show. But because of that, it sometimes feels a bit boring, where it's just not as much, action going on compared to Arrow and Flash and stuff. But, this episode starts off with Lynn and Anissa. They get attacked and Anissa gets shot, and she's okay because she was on instinct holding her breath, which is kind of silly. I don't understand that because, she can't hold her breath in the time, like, hear the gunfire and then hold her breath and then get hit by the bullet. No, you get hit by the bullet and you're down. You don't realize till after. Like, she's not the Flash or anything like that. So I don't understand how she was able to, I understand it still knocked her down and it still left a mark, which usually they don't even leave marks and stuff, the bullets. They just bounce right off when she knows that they're coming and she protects herself, like later on in the episode. But, it just seems to me a bit convenient that she was kind of completely fine, rather than, than anything else. I think it would have been, I think it would have been interesting to see. It would have been more. It would have been more interesting to have her get shot. Maybe she gets shot in the shoulder blade or somewhere where it went through and through, and it's completely fine. She's able to heal from it, and she just puts bandages on it, and she's kind of fine shot. Since they did establish that the shooters were actually Markovian special ops or something like that, who are skilled military and stuff like that. So that would make sense that they only wanted Lynn, they didn't want Anissa, so they shoot her, but give like a shot that would kind of go through and through, like a shoulder shot or arm shot or something that would easily be she'd easily be able to live from, but would not kill her whatsoever. A non-life-threatening shot, and like a precise, doing that just to get her down on the ground. She's out for that scene right there. She's shot, and then they get to take Lynn because she's taken out. I think that would have been more interesting way to have done it. It would have been way more explaining how she was able to survive, a shot like that, instead of saying that her powers happen to be on, like, type thing, or she instinctively, if you see the guy coming, if you feel threatened and you started holding her breath, she saw someone, she felt a little bit threatened and wasn't sure, that would have made sense, right? But just out of nowhere, not knowing it, it just seemed a bit convenient for there. We see that Gambi ends up finding video feed from the mall of the parking lot and gets the driver who got away in the car. Like, oh my god, is that stupid? Like, first of all, Freeland to me doesn't look like a high class town, so I wouldn't believe that the mall has security cameras out in the parking lot. Maybe in the mall, in the grocery store, and maybe inside the grocery store to stop theft, at the door for the grocery store, facing in and out of the door, but in the parking lot, hard to believe that they would have one like that, just because it's in the parking lot, it's out of their control. They're not going to be liable for anything that happens in the parking lot. So I just really don't believe that there would be there'd be cameras in the parking lot. I mean, the only time there'd probably be cameras in a parking lot is maybe of a bank, or just for some reasons a higher class town that just has more money, where they're able to have the money to put things like that. I just don't believe that, from what I saw of this specific grocery store, it didn't make sense that they would have it. And even if they did, there's no way you'd be able to see inside of the window of a moving car, or even if it wasn't moving, be able to get inside and be able to see that. And the guy didn't have a mask on or whatever, so that a bystander can't take his photo or something. So that was just kind of silly there. And again, Gambi, I like the character's kind of fun, but he just pisses me off because he always has an answer to everything. He can fix any problem. He has too many skills, too much tech, too much money. Like, it's just, I really would love to see the actor come to Comic-Con around here just so I can ask him, how the hell does Gambi, pay for all this tech that he has? I would love to see one of them show up. I think that would be something interesting to be able to ask the actor, like, well, how the hell does he pay for all this stuff? He's not Bruce Wayne, So yeah, that's kind of always pisses me off. And we see Jennifer ends up going back to school, so that's interesting. And then this whole like Khalil memorial situation that happens and stuff with the new principal, the white principal guy. And I think that was an interesting idea, especially later on when Jefferson shows up. Like, he shows up there, and then he shows up later on, not realizing that his daughter had been taken away by security and stuff. And I think that was an interesting idea, the way he played, the way the principal kind of threw it back at him, saying, just because I'm white, just people assume that I had a great life and all that stuff. And I think that's an interesting idea, playing with that, flipping it on its head and stuff. Especially for this show, I think it's a really interesting idea. I just hope that they kind of, I don't, obviously not drag it out too much, but hopefully that wasn't just a one-time thing, because I feel like it might be, it was like a one-liner thrown in just to kind of appease people, and then kind of, and then move on, and then never talk about it again. That would be really disappointing. I think if they brought it up and talked about it again, I think it would be something interesting to play with, just to get both sides of the coin, because you always see the one side of the coin. I think it's just something that I'd like to see. I'd like to see them build up this principle and see, and find Jefferson and him to kind of find a way to understand each other. And I think that could be something interesting to see, as to where they learn to work together and building up this character rather than him just being. And they're starting it with this scene in this episode, but hopefully it goes more than just this scene. I think it could be something interesting to play with. So we see Black Lightning and Hunter. We see Anissa ends up going to see Grace, and she finds out that she has Black Lightning and Thunder comics. And I think that's quite interesting. And I'm surprised that Black Lightning comics, like, Black Lightning's been out he was Black Lightning 9 years ago before the season 1. So I think, was it 9 years? Or no, he was Black Lightning for 9 years or 9. I don't know. I forget how much time was in between when he stopped being Black Lightning and when he became Black Lightning again in the first episode. But if Black Lightning, there must have been Black Lightning comics back then, or the Black Lightning comics must have been out originally when he was first Black Lightning, and then maybe the comic stopped selling as well because he wasn't around, seeing Black Lightning on the news, because that would obviously be advertisement for the comics, and they would help sales for the comics totally. And then when Thunder came around, let's give her a comic, because why not, right? I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. I think it's kind of fun seeing stuff like that there, and I think it's going to be interesting to see, especially with Grace. We see she reveals that her powers start going off and go crazy, or her skin starts to change, her eyes color change, her tattoos kind of change whenever she's around Anissa. And I think that's going to be cool to see as to where things go with that. Maybe we get a scene somewhere in this season when maybe Thunder can save her from something, or I don't know, help her from something, protect her from something. Maybe she's caught in the crossfire. It looks like the people might be going after Lynn or something, so I think that could be something interesting again if Thunder happens to be there, and Grace is around, and she protects her from something. And then I'd love to see Grace kind of recognize Anissa in the costume. I think that'd be something interesting to see, since she knows her so well. But then again, you can't really have Grace recognize Anissa in the costume, because then it's like, why didn't Henderson recognize Jefferson all throughout season 1 in his costume until he revealed it, until he put 2 to 2 together later on. So I think that's kind of interesting there. I definitely can't wait to see as to where things kind of go with that. I think it would be something interesting to see her figure it out, or to see if they would decide if they would go to see where things would go with that. If Anissa, if Grace found out, but found out without Jennifer finding out, kind of like how Chloe found out that Clark was on Smallville, where she watched him catch a car from afar, and secretly, so she knows without him knowing, So if Grace could find out without Anissa knowing that Grace knows that she's Black Lightning, would Grace kind of just confront her about that? Would she wait for her to be told? Kind of like, like in Smallville, I think, was it with Lois? She knew he was the Blur for the longest time, and then didn't reveal it to him until he revealed it to her, letting it be on her, because it's not her secret to know, right? I think that's something interesting like that to play with, or vice versa. Once if Anissa finds out about Grace's powers, does she tell her? Does she wait and stuff? I think that could be something interesting to see. I think it'd be something interesting to play with. I think I'd go with the whole Nissa route. Her finding out somehow that Grace is connected. Maybe, that Grace has powers without Grace knowing, and then she reveals herself as as Thunder, and then says, "Hey, I'm opening up to you. I'm wondering if you can open up to me, about your powers," type thing. I think that could be something cool to play with and to see as to where that relationship goes. We see Nissa goes after. She's in the hospital, working at one of the hospitals, and a girl comes in all beat up and stuff, so she goes after the guy and beats him up and almost loses the fight and stuff. And I think that was interesting. And when she was lifting him up, and I was just like, a guy like that who clearly, he's on power, he has a lot of power, he runs a gang and stuff, he's just going to beat her up again. To really make him, notice and to make him, to make him learn his lesson, I don't know why. And this is what she should have done. This is just, stomp on his foot, break his foot, because she left him pretty beat up, and he looked like we saw him later on in the hospital and stuff, but I don't think he was still able to walk after that. And I think if she had just, stomped on his foot, broke, half his foot, broke a bunch of toes and stuff, so he's not able to walk, we're not able to, chase his girl down to try and beat her up and stuff. And I think that would have been the way to do that. Or even just grab a finger, break a finger, just a finger, something simple like that, so that he has a cast for a while to do that. You're not killing them, you're not doing anything, but you're kind of doing that stuff. And I think that would be something interesting to see with Jennifer. That's just the way I would have done it, but that's me. That's my opinion. Maybe it's a bit far, maybe it's a bit dark, but it's the way I would have done it. Just because clearly he didn't care, he didn't feel threatened by her, because he just asked the rest of his gang to go after her again. So he really didn't feel that threatened by her enough. And then at the end of the episode, we had the Khalil's funeral, and Jennifer's there while they're lowering it, which I don't know why her mother's not there. Maybe she didn't want to see it, but her mother went to the funeral. It's not like she couldn't handle the funeral whatsoever. She never would have showed up, or she would have just stayed at the car from afar. But it's just kind of weird that only Jennifer was there to watch it go, to watch the thing go down, and his mother wouldn't be there also. I mean, if maybe everyone else leaves, but at least the mother and Jennifer, that would have made more sense, seeing the two of them there, and then seeing that the agent is following Jennifer. Agent, what's his name? The same one who's following his mother, Agent Odell. And I think that's interesting, since he's kind of onto Lynn, that she's kind of lying about Anissa. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, that I don't know how he got to, why would he be following Jennifer? I mean, maybe he's just following all of them just to see what's up. But I think, he probably suspects that Anissa, something's up with Anissa, because she survived a gunshot that, yeah, she said in the mist didn't really hit her, but from where his angle was, he would be able to see, and his experience being, in law enforcement and stuff, he would be able to tell that, yeah, she should have got shot. It's a very lucky shot. It's very unlikely that she didn't get shot, and she's just walking around. She was fine, right? So I think that would be something interesting to see him follow around Anissa, and then him following around Jennifer is going to be really interesting, especially with her powers just going, like, she has them under control, but every time her emotions get out of whack, because of Khalil or seeing the Khalil memorials and stuff, it kind of sparks her powers, which I guess don't know why her powers didn't take off. We didn't have her powers trying to go off while she was having this speech there with the principal and stuff. I think that would have been more interesting to see her kind of, he says something and her eyes just kind of go, and her just kind of look down and just catch her breath, and then kind of rechannel the emotional energy, emotional rage from the powers to the speech. And I think that could have been a way to do that. But getting back to the agent here, and I think that's going to be something interesting to see. Something like that is, is he going to see her? Maybe he gets photos later on, or somehow starts seeing her powers kind of go off. Not that she does anything dangerous. I don't want to see her, like, he sees her doing something, and all of a sudden a car gets blown up, and then she gets blamed, he arrests her. But him just kind of getting proof that, she has powers, but it's not just clear whether she's controlling them. And I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. But I can't wait to see as to what his reaction is like once he finds out that Jennifer has powers. Maybe he puts together that that Nissa has powers. Maybe that she's thunder and he's lightning and stuff, black lightning. What does he do with that? What does he do with the information, or at least just the information that just Jennifer has powers? What does he do with that? I think that could be something interesting. And I think if they go with a way that's that's less predictable than where it would go. Because right now it's all like, oh no, he finds out and then he's going to reveal it and it's going to be bad. Like, it would all be negative. But if he ends up revealing that and goes, hey, I know she has powers, but I'm cool, I'm on you, and he's on their side, I think that could be something that's less predictable and kind of a non-predictable way. Because right now it just seems very predictable, like, oh, he's going to find out that Jennifer has powers, and then he's going to use it on Lynn and threaten her with that information and blackmail her with that information, or try and bring her in or whatever type thing, and it's going to be a terrible situation. He's going to be another bad guy and this guy, for them to have to fight to stopping the government from testing on all of them and all that stuff, putting Jennifer in a pod and all that stuff. That's kind of the predictable way to go. But if they go a different route, I think it could be something interesting, or even just a little bit of light blackmailing where I'm not going to do anything to your daughter if you do what I say, and your daughter doesn't go into a pod, and I'm going to keep it my secret, right? I think that could be something interesting, the way to go. But hopefully his story is a bit less predictable than where it looks like it's going. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Season 2, episode 12 of Black Lightning, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.